Store closures are shocking the United States. Saks filed bankruptcy. Macy's announced more closures. Joann's has been liquidated. Express filed. Big Lots, they're pretty much gone. Party City is finished. Moody's just downgraded the entire sector. Do not take this lightly. Let's get into this in this video and talk about how you can actually make money from it and how big of a deal it is. You see, the store on the corner of your street is pretty much now closed. You drove by it a few weeks before, you noticed the lights were off for good. Then the one near your grocery store. Then the anchor tenant at the mall your kids grew up in. Bad luck. You figured bad lease, maybe it's a bad location. It isn't bad luck. It's the fastest collapse of American retail real estate in more than 30 years. And it follows a sequence that has run before. And most people don't even see that cycle. Think about it this way. A national chain fails. Its stores empty out. The anchor tenant of a shopping center goes dark. The smaller stores around it lose their foot traffic and follow it out the door. The value of that commercial property fails, 30 to 50% in worst cases. And when commercial property values fall, the property taxes that fund your town's schools and roads fall with them in 6 steps. The first one is a store closing. The last one is the value of your house and the budget of your kid's school. You don't have to ever have shopped at that store, any of these stores, to take the hit. That's the part that nobody's telling you about, and it's what this video is about. You start with the size of it, right? By the 6th week of this actual year, U.S. store closures had crossed 2,000 just by the 6th week. New store openings are running at about 47% below last year. The full year projection is around 15,000 stores closing. 15,000 is not a normal bad year. Retail has had bad years before. The dot-com bust, the 2008 crash, or the stretch around 2019, where the press called it the retail apocalypse, when something like 9,000 stores closed. The record was in 2020. The pandemic shut down the country and roughly 12,000 stores couldn't survive it. That was the worst year American retail had ever recorded. The projection for this year is now higher than that year, higher than the pandemic. And there's no pandemic to point to at this time and no reopening to recover into. That last part is the whole story. And in 2008, in both 2008 and 2019, and even in 2020, a closed store was just a temporary hole, right? A temporary vacancy. Other chains were still opening locations. A space would go empty, and within a year, somebody would lease it inside of a mall. But now you're starting to see more of this. With openings down by nearly a half, that's now gone. A store that closes in 2026 mostly just stays closed. The hole doesn't fill. 2020 was a bigger shock at that time, but it had a recovery waiting on the other side because the government was going to reopen, right? And all this money was going to flood into the system. You see, the people that saw, or that are currently watching actually, their own towns deteriorate, they saw it before the numbers did. When you actually drive by a store that was open and now it's closed, you see another one and another one, you're getting the picture. And as a business owner, you're probably starting to scramble to figure out how to go and get more business. One subscriber of mine wrote in that all the malls are going away in their area, that the social part of shopping in this country is dying, and soon it'll be shown in empty buildings. Another person actually wrote in and said that the middle class is dissolving. Another said a bag of coffee for them is now running about $20. This isn't analysts talking. This is people actually standing in zip codes already partway through the sequence. And this is why, if you're a business owner, you need to figure out quick how to go and find ways to get new business. I'm going to throw a link down below if you want the FRAP course, the Profit Accelerator course. It'll be a game changer. If it doesn't work for you, if it doesn't increase your sales, bring in more money in the first month, in the first 30 days that you watch the course, just email us and we'll give you your money back. Okay? That's how big of a deal this is. Now, back to the different store closures. So when Saks filed for bankruptcy in January, Francesca's actually filed the next month in February and has announced that they are closing 400 stores. Eddie Bauer is now announcing that they are winding down about 175 locations. And 7-Eleven, we've talked about before, announced over 640 store closures. Macy's is closing 150 stores. Macy's is a massive mall anchor in malls like this that are just going away. This leaves it with only around 350 stores nationwide. Pizza Hut closed hundreds of restaurants. Wendy's is shutting down to about, they're closing, 350 in the first half of this year. Starbucks announced around 520 store closures in North America. How about QVC? Their parent company filed bankruptcy in April. This is showing a national slowdown of consumers. This is why it's important, if you're a business owner, to get ahead of this and get more money, get more customers. This is what you need to learn right now. Action takers are money makers. Now, P Global, a company just came out. They say that first quarter's retail bankruptcy filings hit the second highest level since 2010. Since the depths of the financial crisis, Moody's has cut its outlook on the whole retail sector to negative, and its lead analyst said the industry's prospects are now bleak. The pattern week to week is what tells you it isn't slowing down. Saks, right? In week 2, week 6, closures past 2,000. Week 13 of this year, openings for new stores are down 47%. Week 15, the 7-Eleven announcement came out. Week 17 of this year, a kitchen retailer shuts every U.S. store it has and leaves the country. That's not a season. That's a curve bending the wrong way. Again, step 1 is bankruptcy or the mass store closure announcement. That's done. We've talked about it. Saks, Francesca's, 7-Eleven, Eddie Bauer, QVC. All these have been confirmed. Now, step 2 is the liquidation. The going out of business sale clears the inventory and lays off the staff. Francesca's is doing it right now. Every cashier and store manager whose paycheck got spent in the same town that they worked in, that money is out of that local economy. Then there's step 3, the vacancy. A failed chain doesn't empty one store, it empties 200, 300, 400 at once. Stack 6 big bankruptcies and a dozen closure programs, and you get thousands of empty retail spaces hitting the market in the same few months this year. That's why it's important for business owners to take action. I'm going to leave you with this. If you are a business owner, you need to learn about how to increase your sales, your average ticket price, your frequency, learn how to get referrals, all of that. I put it together in a course with my friend Josh, unreal course. And I'm going to give you this promise. Again, if you don't think it's going to change your business or make you a ton of money or change the way that you see profit, just email us back and you can have your money back within 30 days. The link's down below to it. It's called the Business Profit Accelerator. We teach something called FRAP. It's an acronym that's going to change the way you do business forever. All right, with that being said, thank you so much. The Economic Ninja, I'm the Real Estate Ninja, is out.